Jason Rembert here with Moment True Podcast going live here. It's a little bit different setup for the live today. Doing the so y'all kind of bear with me with the camera and everything. But I was sitting down in the in my living room and just reminiscing and thinking on a few things, and God came to me with thought and idea that I should go live today and share a little bit with y'all on my mental health journey. As y'all know, that June is the month of men's mental health awareness month. I'm going to ask everybody as y'all come in, please say hello. I would like to say hello to you. Let me know where you're watching from. And I'm going to ask everyone, if you will, please like this video and please share this video if you find it helpful. Also, if you have not, please consider subscribing to the channel. So, guys, today we're going to be talking. I'm going to share a little bit of my testimony with my mental health journey, and y'all bear with me, man, because I believe this is gonna ultimately it's gonna be a oh Lord, yeah, y'all forgive me, man. Forgive me for that. We had a little. Y'all forgive me. y'all, y'all forgive me for that, man. We had a little mishap. The camera fell down off the off my desk here. Y'all, y'all forgive me, man. But yeah, I want to share a little bit of my journey here with of my mental health here. So listen, y'all bear with me, okay? Because I'm gonna open up and be vulnerable with you all. Like it's I'm not a vulnerable person, mainly because I have struggled with being vulnerable. My God bless you, God bless you. I've struggled with being vulnerable. I have, because a lot of times growing up, when I became vulnerable, it was weaponized. So I've learned, I kind of shielded myself from being vulnerable. But God's been dealing with me about breaking that barrier and breaking that wall and being vulnerable and sharing my story. So I'm going to do that today. For those who don't know, my name is Jason. I was born and raised in Mississippi. I'm the son of a pastor. My father was a great man. I loved him. I know he loved me. And growing up, being a pastor's son, being a preacher's kid, is automatically kind of the status quo that you should follow in the footsteps of your parent. And growing up, what's going on? Who this is? What's going on? Growing up, we how can I put it? As I grew up, there was a lot of things that I went through, but if I can pinpoint where a lot of my issues started, at the age of 14. I lost my father at the age of 14. And when I lost him, it turned my world inside out in more ways than one. And in many ways, I still feel the effects of his loss even today. And I'm 41 years old. Like I said, I was raised in the church. I was raised, following Christ. I was raised, you love everybody. You love mankind. You treat people the way you want to be treated. And me and my sister Jennifer, we attended a private school. It was a Christian private school, and a lot of good memories there. But around the age of, I would say, 9, my parents pulled us out of private school and put us in public school. And public school was such a shock to me. It was a culture shock because I was coming out of, this private Christian school where we prayed every day. We prayed before we started class. Everybody knew everybody. It was a close knit private school, and then I'm in public school where everybody was just wilding. The kids were wilding. It was crazy, and because I had never really been introduced to kids outside of church and outside of public school, I was looked at as weird because I grew up, it was all about Jesus growing up. So, they called me church boy, preacher boy, this, that, and the third, but I was bullied a lot growing up. So I was bullied because I was chubby. I was bullied because I had slanted eyes. I was bullied because we didn't wear name brand clothes. My father and mother didn't believe in buying Nikes and Jordans and all this. So they believed that you should be thankful for what you have, that the clothes don't make you and the brand doesn't make you. And that's true. But when you're a kid growing up and everyone around you is wearing name brand and everyone is, making fun of you because, you're not, kids can be very cruel, right? So not only that, but I didn't know how to fight when I was younger. I didn't know how to fight. So kids would pick on me. They would fight me. They would beat me up. They would, steal my lunch money. And all this stuff was, when you're 9 and 10 years old, this stuff, it scars you mentally. And I started getting angry because I wanted to fight back, but, I was raised not to fight. I was raised not to defend yourself. You let God defend you. You just pray your problems away. So, I was so angry. I would go to school angry all the time because I knew these bullies would bully me, and at the time, I didn't have the capacity to fight back. And, they would take my book bags. They would pour my books all on the floor. They would snatch my shoes off my feet and throw them down the hall, or they would slap me in the face or slap me on the back of the head, and call me all types of names, and then girls are laughing at me and this, that. And it was that's why I'm not a fan of bullies. And I teach my kids, don't bully, because it could scar you mentally. And then, so it got to the point where I didn't want to go to school. I hated going to school. I dreaded going to school. And the only time I felt any type of relief was on the football field. I excelled. I found my passion of playing football around the age of 11. And all the bullies that bullied me were on the football team. And it was a chance for me to get back at them without any type of repercussion. So I took it out. I took all my frustrations out on the football field. They taught us to be violent. They taught us to let all the violence out on the football field, right? And so that's what I did. Anybody that lined up across from me, I would envision them taking something from me, and I would just go ballistic. I would go ballistic on them. And the more I went ballistic, the more the coaches loved it. And the more I went ballistic, the more I saw fear in the eyes of my opponent. And I began to feel the power that fear can wield over a person. And I enjoyed it only because on the inside, I was afraid. I was afraid. And so Fast forward now, at the age of 14, my father passes away from cancer. And now I am in a messed up state, man. I started going into a dark place, and I because I felt unprotected because my father was not there anymore. So I built this alter ego within myself to protect myself. And this is, and I'm telling y'all this because there are a lot of men, and I'm talking about the men today because it's Men's Mental Health Month. A lot of us build alter egos within ourselves to protect ourselves, and we live in that reality. We make our reality this alter ego that we have created. And that is when I created the alter ego of Big J. Big J was a no nonsense, don't take no mess off nobody. You take something from me, you better be ready to defend it with your life because I'm coming for what's mine. I would listen to hip hop music. I listened to Scarface. I listened to UGK. I listened to Tupac. I listened to Big. I listened to Wu-Tang Clan. I listened to all these rappers because I didn't have that male guidance anymore. So I'm listening to these rappers. I'm watching their music videos, and I'm telling myself that this is how I need to be as a man. This is how I protect myself so that no one messes with me. So what happened was I stopped being bullied and became a bully. I began to terrorize people. I began to steal. I began to do things that were very uncharacteristic of myself, very uncharacteristic of the way I was raised, because on the inside I was afraid. And the only way I felt to protect myself was to instill as much fear as I could on other people. Looking back on it, I'm very, very ashamed. I'm very ashamed of the way I acted. I'm very ashamed of the things that I did and the people that I hurt, because no one deserves to no one deserves to no one deserves to be mishandled or mistreated in any manner. No one deserves to be bullied, or no one deserves to be made fun of, or just because they're different. But a lot of us, and I'm driving this to a point because people have to understand, when you're dealing with mental health, everything comes from a source, from a root cause. Everything comes from a root cause. You understand? And hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second. Everything is a root cause. Everything comes from a root cause. And a lot of us have hidden and suppressed all these different emotions, so much so to the point where we can't locate the root cause of why things happened the way that they happened. So I'm battling within myself, because inwardly I felt that I was inadequate. I felt that I wasn't good enough. And that's what bullying does to the psyche of someone. It'll make you feel inadequate. It'll make you feel like you are not good enough. It'll make you feel as if something is wrong with you, and nothing is wrong with you. But I'm I'm dealing with these issues on the inside of me that I was so young, I did not understand what it was. All I knew to do was I had to be tough. I had to have a tough exterior and suppress all these emotions that I'm feeling on the inside. And that's what happens with a lot of men. We suppress so many emotions. We suppress the anger. We suppress the grief. We suppress the stress. We suppress it because we feel like we have to have a tough exterior. We feel like we have to have this macho man persona. We feel like we have to live up to that motto that big boys don't cry. And that persona, that way of thinking, it damages us in many ways because a lot of us deal with things. We're breaking in silence. We are suffering in silence, and we don't know how to break the chain. We don't know how to articulate what we're feeling. So many men take these emotions and take this hurt and take their pains to the grave. A lot of men pass on from this world broken on the inside, broken mentally, broken emotionally, broken spiritually. Can be millionaires, but broken on the inside. Preachers, prophets, prophetess, broken on the inside. Professors, news anchors, politicians, athletes, lawyers, doctors, trash men, construction workers, bank tellers, managers, warehouse workers, forklift operators, mailmen, broken on the inside, but still able. See, what we do as men, we are able to function in our brokenness. And because we function and because we got to pay bills and because we are responsible and have all these different responsibilities on us, we don't take the time to make sure that we are good mentally or emotionally. I'm here to tell you, brother, you can't be so caught up in your responsibilities that you don't do inventory on yourself to make sure that you are okay. There are a lot of people functioning, a lot of men in this world. They may be your uncle, they may be your brother, they may be your daddy, they may be your husband, they may be your fiance, they may be your best friend, they may be your coworker. They are functioning, but they are broken in on the inside. And men, we do a wonderful job of masking our brokenness. We do a wonderful job of masking our internal struggles. And we try to self-medicate. We try to drink it away. We try to smoke it away. We try to sex it away. We go to the gun ranges and try to shoot it away. We play our video games and try to game it away. Self-medicating, but on the inside, it gives you a temporary release. But when the dust settles, that problem, that issue is still there. It's still there. I'm 17 years old now. I built an alter ego within myself. I'm suppressing these anger issues. At the same time, I'm feeling that I am inadequate. I'm feeling that I am not enough. And I'm 17 years old. And now I joined the military. And at 17, I'm in the military. And I find myself in the desert of Iraq, looking at Scud missiles flying over my head. I find myself 17 years old, and now I'm in firefights. I'm 17 years old, and we are living in barracks that were that used to be Saddam Hussein's torture chambers. I'm seeing chairs with bullet holes in them and old blood stains. Things that I'm trying to figure out, how can human beings be treated like this? 17 years old, and I'm losing comrades. 18 years old, and I don't know if I'm going to make it home or not. So when you're in situations like that, you have to take on another mindset. When you are overseas and you're in the war and you're fighting in war, you have to take on another mindset of, it's either him or me. Because you're trying to get home. You're playing cards and dominoes with people. And then you go out on convoys and you come back and that person is no longer there. You're seeing body limbs on the ground. You're seeing people deformed. And you're 17 years old, 18 years old, 19 years old. You mentally. I became an alcoholic. I became a functioning alcoholic at 18 years old in Iraq. Because the alcohol gave me a relief, a temporary escape from reality. So I already got issues from childhood, compounded upon what I'm experiencing in Iraq. And for those of you that served, one, thank you for your service. Two, y'all, if you are a veteran, you know exactly what I mean with what I'm about to say right here. When we came back from Iraq, they didn't check to make sure that we were okay. They sat us in front of a therapist, and the therapist asked us about 5 to 6 questions. It asked us, are you having nightmares? We say no. Because at that time, we are still, remember, by the time I came back from our home from Iraq, as I was doing my debriefing, everybody was still in war mode. We had not acclimated to society yet. We were still in war mode. So no, our brains had not clicked over to civilian life. So we weren't having flashbacks or nightmares or any of that stuff yet, because we were still in war mode. So when the Army sent out their standard therapist to everybody, and they asked everybody the same question, like, are you having nightmares? No. Are you having thoughts of suicide? No. Are you having thoughts of harming someone? No. Are you what's another question that they asked? They said, are you having flashbacks or bad memories during the daytime? No. So what they did, they checked us off as we're okay. I didn't start having flashbacks and blackouts until like a year after I came back from the war. And I would So you got to remember, I got these issues from being bullied growing up, childhood traumas. Now I got my father passed away, and I'm 14 years old, compounded on these childhood traumas. And then I go overseas to Iraq, and I have that experience compounded upon these other traumas. And I didn't learn what I was dealing with until I turned about 38, 39 years old. The Army did not diagnose me with manic depression until I was like 38, 39. So I got up to almost 20. So it's almost 20 years of my life from 18 to 38, 39, where I was just dealing with stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, my emotion, there'll be times I get triggered and I will go into an emotional state where I would shut down for weeks at a time. Or I would go through this emotional state where I'm furiously angry, ready to break something, ready to push somebody's head through the wall over the slightest bit of things. Always edgy, always, you know, I'm trying to word it right. I'm going through all these different emotions, right? So now I'm 27, I'm 26 years old, 25 years old, forgive me, I'm 25. I get married. Okay? So I get married. And you know how you have issues in your marriage, you know, you have your arguments, you're screaming, you're fighting, you're fussing, you have your disagreements, right? But my disagreements were heightened. Now, I never put my hands on my ex-wife. I never done any type of physical harm to her at all. But our arguments were so heightened because all these traumas on the inside that I never addressed. So when I get angry, I black out. There are times I will black out when I come to, there's holes all in the wall, dishes that are shattered on the ground, and my ex-wife and kids are in the corner and they're crying. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say us as men, we deal with these issues, man, and we have problems. A lot of us have problems, and we are not dealing with these problems. We are not addressing our issues. We're not addressing our traumas because we feel like we got to have that macho man persona. Do y'all understand? Like, and I'm trying to, man, I'm trying my best to have this conversation without sounding like I'm just all over the place. But so me and my ex, we stay married for about 12 to 13 years. Toward the end of the marriage, I started seeing therapy, and I started talking with my therapist and explaining things that happened to me growing up, and I started explaining things that I went through in Iraq. I started explaining situations, and by my ex-wife sitting there and listening to me, it helped her a little bit to understand where I was coming from. And that's when the Army diagnosed me with manic depression. Now, I want to say this because this is a Christian channel. I'm gonna say this for those of us on here that are Christians. Everything is not when we think about mental health, we automatically think that somebody's crazy. That's the first thing from the truth. We think that mental health is some type of demon, and it's not. Don't demonize people that battle with mental health issues. That's the worst thing you could do is demonize them. And when we're taught in church all the time that you just pray, you get the holy oil, and you cover yourself in prayer, and you can pray this spirit away. Sometimes it takes you going to therapy. Sometimes it takes you talking your issues out, talking your problems out. You know how God started helping me with this manic depression? I had to start talking about it. I had to stop trying to deal with it on my own. For those of you that are fighting or battling mental health issues, the number one thing you got to understand is it is okay to not be okay. It is okay to tell your spouse or tell somebody or tell a therapist, tell somebody, look, I'm struggling right now. I'm struggling right now. You don't need to hold that in. Don't try to self-medicate. Don't try to deal with it on your own because you can't. It's too big for you. Don't try to deal with it alone. I tried it. It doesn't work. I had to go to God and I had to tell him, like, Lord, this is I'm struggling. I'm going through. How do I overcome? How do I overcome this? How do I overcome all the traumas? How do I overcome this funk that I find myself in mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially? Because whether you believe or not, mental health, it'll mess with your finances. It will, man. It will. And that's when the Lord started dealing with me about it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you have less faith. It doesn't make you less Christian to go get help. He had to tell me, like, Jason, that is why I gifted people with the gift of psychiatry to help you understand what you're dealing with. It don't make you any less to go seek help. If anything, it makes you strong. You have to be strong enough to acknowledge how weak you are. I'm going to say that again for the ones in the back. You have to be strong enough to acknowledge how weak you are. It doesn't make you any less of a man because you need to go talk to somebody. It doesn't make you a weak man because you're struggling and you need help. It doesn't make you any less. It makes you strong. Because a real man is a man that know what he can stand and know what he can't stand. I went through another trauma when I went through my divorce. I went through another trauma when my children moved away. But now, by God's grace, I know the signs when it's coming. I can feel it when it's coming. I can feel it when I'm being triggered. And now, through my therapist, through the power of the Holy Spirit, through my support system, I'm learning now how to decipher my emotions. I'm learning now how to decipher what I'm dealing with. Because I'm going to tell y'all something, man. If you don't think it takes work, it does. You know how they say it takes a village to raise a child? It takes a support system to help you with your mental health. It could be your spouse, your girlfriend. It could be your mother, your father, siblings. It could be your church. It could be a small group in your church. But you're gonna need a community. You're gonna need somebody that can help hold you accountable in those weak moments. And if you don't have anybody, feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at Rembert Media Group. That's RembertMediagroup at gmail.com. Rembert Media Group at gmail.com. I also have my email in the bio link on my YouTube channel. But you have to have somebody to walk with you on this journey. It took people to help me. And I had to come to that realization that I needed help. Mental health is not a demon. It's not a demon that you cast out. Mental health is a mindset. It's traumas that have affected your mind. It's identities that need to be broken. Walls that need to be torn down. So that you can become your authentic self, the person that God created you to be. And it doesn't make you any less to admit that you're struggling, that you're battling. I battle. I struggle. But I've learned now to turn that struggle into a stride. And you can learn it too. I hope I wasn't all over the place, guys. I hope that something was said to help. If you're watching this and you are a man that is struggling with mental health, or you know a man that is struggling with mental health, and ladies, if you're watching this, for the men in your life, I'm asking you, please, ask them, how are you mentally? Open up a safe space where he can open up and talk to you and tell you what's going on with him. Because a lot of men don't have that. A lot of men become a safe space for others to open up, while they themselves feel like they are not safe enough to open up to anybody. So if there's a man in your life, I don't care if it's your father, your brother, your husband, your cousin, your boyfriend, your fiance, ask him, how are you? How are you mentally? Because that one question that you ask may just save that man's life. I love y'all today. I hope that that this video helps somebody. Till next time, know this: you're truly blessed in Jesus' name. And we are out of here.